What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Well, for all you calorie counters out there, your calories in, calories out, please just continue counting calories and stop asking what the most efficient way to burn calories is. The most efficient way to count calories. Does this calorie count? Fiber doesn't count. Sugar, alcohol, should they count? Like, listen to me. If we're trying to dumb it down and make it super easy, you guys are making it really fucking hard. Like, I don't understand. Like, here's the problem that I have with the whole situation. Now, there are so many people out there, calories in, calories out, calories all that matters, and they will not fucking listen when you talk about macros. They cannot wrap their head around the fact that counting your macros, okay, fucking cannot wrap, like, I don't know how to explain this anymore. Fucking, for years I've been explaining this. Each macro has a calorie count in it, right? When you do your macros and count your macros, those macros have calories. Those calories add up into your daily totals or then hit calorically when you hit your macros. Now, on the flip side of that, if you are only counting calories and you're not counting macros, if you're only aware of calories and not aware of macros, how could you possibly hit your macronutrient needs by only hitting calories, not even knowing what those macronutrient needs are? There lies the problem. I think it's a jump between beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And people get stuck in the beginners because they think that's all that's there. So there is a beginner part. The beginner part is counting calories. Okay? That's where you begin. And what happens with calorie counting is understanding what calories are. Getting a comprehension of the foods that you eat, what the calorie content is. So a perfect example, if you were to say, all right, I'm going to have a 400 calorie meal, right, for Thanksgiving, and you measure out 400 calories and you put it in front of you, you're going to be really disappointed. You're going to be like, holy shit. Like, that's how much I've been overeating. That is what calorie counting does. That's what calorie counting helps with. Helps you be aware of what the fuck you're putting in your body. Because right now, I'm telling you right now, if I sat down and said, eat a cup of rice, I guarantee if you've never measured out really a cup of rice, you'll pack that fucking rice down in there. You'll put a cup of rice in the plate and it'll take up the whole fucking plate. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be this little fucking thing, right? Because you're not aware of volume, calories. You don't know what those things are. And you're eyeballing things thinking you're doing them right. But now what happens is you get to this next phase, which is understanding calories, right? You got that, the calorie concept. 4 calories for every gram of carb and protein, 9 calories for every gram of fat. You understand that, right? But you're still not fucking with the macros. But what you are doing is moving on to this next phase, which is calories in, calories out, calorie burning, right? You're looking at some kind of either surplus or deficiency, right? Deficiency meaning deficient in macronutrients. We're not going with macros, sorry, calories or calorie deficit or surplus, right? So that concept, that's the more intermediate, right? And then people get stuck on that. They're right there because the counting calories doesn't really work. It gives you an awareness, but it stops really fast. And the only way to continue is to keep cutting calories. You can't do that. So calorie counting, although a short-term fix, a very short-term, doesn't work long-term. So you say there's got to be more to it. So then you go, oh, well, here we are. Burning calories. Calories in, calories out. If I burn this many calories per day and I take in this many, the deficit will be this. I will lose weight. This is the intermediate. And then they get stuck on that because they think that's the be-all, end-all. Now, understanding how calories are burnt and calories in, calories out are more complex than just counting calories. But it's not so advanced where you actually have to do a lot of work. The work really comes when you have to start counting your macros, and that's where the results really come, right? Long-term results that are maintainable come with the macros. It's the next step, the advanced step. Now, advanced to most people, I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a professional athlete, I don't need to go that far, but you're still not where you want to be or need to be. That is the problem that I have. We have all these people that are counting calories. Listen, if calorie counting worked as good as you think it did or as well as people think it does, macronutrients would never have fucking been involved in the equation of counting those macronutrients. We could have just counted calories. If calories in versus calorie out was all you needed to fully get in shape and stay in shape, macro counting again would not exist. Those macros wouldn't fucking matter because it would be all with calories. But now what happens is you get to this point, it stops working. You get to this point, it stops working. These two things are just the beginning of teaching you where you need to be. The 3 steps, beginning, intermediate, and advanced, are all one thing, and you have to learn all those things, not just one, not just these 2, all of them. Like, you should be progressing and evolving in your physique, in your knowledge as well, and how to apply it. But what happens is now you have to sit down, you have to understand how protein works, carbohydrates work, and fat works. And now you have to know how your body, you have to figure out how your body needs those in certain amounts every day, based on exercise, based on individual metabolism, based on biofeedback that your body gives you. You have to figure that out. That's where the real work begins. Calories, you can go to a chart online. This weight, this height, this age, boom, I'm taking this many calories. Done. Sit down and try to figure out your macros. There is no calculator for your macros like that. There are a few macro calculators out there, but they're all over the fucking board. Like, none of them are even close to being what you really need. Your body's a living, breathing thing that evolves and changes daily based on what you put in your body food-wise and hormones. So, it's frustrating. I'm like, look, if you only want to count calories, fucking only count calories. I don't give a fuck. If you want to just do calories in, calories out, I don't give a fuck. Just do it. Just stop asking me. Here's the problem. If you really understood what the fuck I'm talking about, you wouldn't have to ask me any questions, because you would understand counting calories doesn't really work. I understand it now, but it's not getting me the results that I want. Calories in, calories out, trying to outrun the calories every day, although it worked in the beginning, is not the solution, because it's not working long term and it's not doing what it used to, and I don't understand why. And then finally you have the macros. Once you start counting those macros, sorry, we actually ran out of room as the phone was ringing, which is really fucking weird. But anyways, so once you learn how to count those macros, you now understand that learning about calorie counting, then learning about calories in, calories out, leads you to the final piece of the puzzle, which is macro counting. Adjusting those macros will get your body to react away hormonally based on what you're giving them. That creates environment for either fat loss or muscle building. That's how that works. Like, it's the advanced piece of the puzzle that is more complicated and harder to understand, which many coaches, even macro coaches, don't understand how protein, carbs, and fats would actually affect hormones. They still only know about just the macros themselves, which again is easy to find on anywhere that you look. But the bottom line is, people don't understand that the final piece of the puzzle, which is macros, is what is responsible for the long-term success that you're going to have, whether it be muscle gaining or fat loss. And I can only point to the fact that if you don't think that's the key, and you don't really understand that stuff, and you don't really apply that stuff, the macronutrient counting, the macronutrient adjusting to your physique, right? If you're not utilizing that now, and you are utilizing calorie counting and calories in, calories out, trying to put yourself in a deficit, and you're not getting to where you want to be, why wouldn't you think that there was one more piece? Because you're contacting me being like, hey, Jerry, and I get these paragraphs that are like, these huge paragraphs telling me, calorie-wise, my weight is this, my BMI is this, my body fat's this, so this calculates to this amount of calories. To be in a deficit, and I start reading this thing, and they're all labeled the same. They're all basically laid out the same, talking about deficits and surpluses and calculations and all this stuff, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, where's your macros? But I don't count macros. I'm like, look at the effort you're doing right now. Look at the effort you're going to, and you're failing because the answer you're looking for is not here. The answer you're looking for is over here at the macros. If you put the type of effort that you into the macros that you put into that, counting calories and understanding fucking caloric deficits, you would already have the answer to your problem. The problem is you're trying to get blood out of a stone, something that's not going to come. You're not going to get the answers out of calorie counting or calories in, calories out. You'll only get the answers out of macro counting when you learn to adjust your body through hormonal manipulation from food. That's what I've been preaching for years. I think people now, don't get me wrong, there are coaches out there that just count macros, and they still don't understand it. Like, every day I find out something new about how food affects the body and how it creates results based on the hormones, how you're changing the body's hormones. Like, your body doesn't change without your hormones changing. Think of it like this. I can give this as an example to just make it like glaringly obvious for people that don't understand. If you have a reduction in your thyroid, right? You have hypothyroidism, you're going to see a change in your body. You don't even know it was happening. You're not even forcing it to happen. We're forcing the body to do something through food for bodybuilding. But if your thyroid starts to slow down, your body changes. If you have hyperthyroid, you can see the effect on the body. Usually, and this is really strange, the eyes bug out, right? Your metabolism is actually faster, right? So your body changes, even the way that your face looks changes based on how those hormones are changing. If you eat a bunch of junk, and I'm not talking about long term, but if you eat a bunch of junk over the course of 24 hours, as your insulin starts to increase, you're going to notice that your body starts retaining water. Well, what do you think is happening? Your body is retaining water because you gave it a ton of carbohydrates. Insulin is starting to rise, and your body actually needs water to digest and process those carbohydrates. So it literally is getting ready or trying to digest all those carbohydrates and having a hard time. So it's trying to retain more water to do that. It retains more water. Also, sodium is a key in loading glycogen. So your body's retaining sodium, retaining water based on the food that you put in it, helping the process of your body digest that food, assimilate it, and then transport it. And it's all happening through the hormones. Like your body's hormonally changing to get your body to react a certain way that it needs. And I'm like, I can't say this enough ways. Like, it doesn't matter how I say it. I feel like I'm speaking different language to whoever is watching it. You need to understand how food, when you ingest it, changes the hormones of your body just by ingesting the food, and there's going to be a reaction to that. You can control the reaction to your body by controlling the food and not the calorie content, okay? The macronutrient content. Eating an all-protein diet with the same amount of calories, say 1,500 calories of all protein, is going to get one result. Eating a 1,500 calorie diet of all carbohydrates is going to get another result. Eating a 1,500 calorie diet of all fats is going to get another result. So there's going to be 3 different results by doing that, but the calorie count is all the same. So if it was all about the calories, shouldn't matter what the macronutrients are, your body should respond the same, but that's not how it works. Each macronutrient has a different way the hormones respond to it. And even depending on what your body needs and how it goes so much deeper than calorie counting. But the first step is calorie counting. So hopefully, man, I beat this thing to shit. And I get so frustrated because it'd be the same fucking email every time. Jerry, what do you think about this? And I'm like, and I answer them, right? Unless it's a huge email and I'm just like, Jesus, this is so much information. But I'll answer them and be like, well, why aren't you counting macros? Oh, well, I'm not that advanced. And I'm like, man, you put a lot of effort. You talk about a fucking deficit like you are a fucking doctor or a scientist. You know a lot about this shit. You need to apply it to the next level. Like, you're just spinning in circles now. You're in a fucking merry-go-round. You need to jump off the merry-go-round and go get on the slide or the fucking Ferris wheel or whatever else is over there, because you're just going to be spinning around doing this. You're not going to get the result that you want. So remember, guys, step 1, calorie counting and awareness and understanding calories and what they are. Food volume, all that stuff. Step 2, how your body burns calories, how your body stores calories. Calories in, calories out. Understanding that and applying that. Step 3, the final step, which really gets you to the point where you can control your body to do anything you want at any time. Macronutrient counting and understanding how the macronutrients work with your body's hormonal system to get your body to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's heal, recover, get bigger, get smaller. That's where that key lies inside there. So hopefully, again, man, this is like probably the 5th or 6th time I've made a video, and it's all different videos, but I feel like I have to say it different ways because people understand it different ways. And I mean, that's nobody's fault, but trying to figure out enough ways to say it to get enough people to understand it is getting to be hard now at this point, because I feel like I've said it every way. But I figured if I broke it down to 3 parts, like beginner, intermediate, and advanced, that might actually be more applicable to people, because when they start their workout programs, they start a beginner, intermediate, and advanced, right? Like when they first get hired at a job, they're a new hire, they've been around for a little while, they're a veteran. You know what I mean? Like, everything has those 3 phases in. I'm like, maybe this will work. So we'll see. BossYouTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BossYouTraining.com is a blog. And so let's see if this works. Bicep, and we are out.